Hey folks, thanks for watching this 2021 Montana Mountain Goat Hunt. This is a Fresh Tracks Plus episode, which is our highest quality storytelling. And this is from a hunt that's really special to me. A mountain goat hunt here in Montana that took 18 years to draw. This episode, along with all of the other episodes from season 10 of Fresh Tracks, are available out at freshtracks.tv. Fresh Tracks Plus is our subscription service that allows us to give you this content early, give you some exclusive content, and do it all ad-free. And your support helps us continue to produce this kind of content. I hope you enjoy this hunt as much as we did. Thanks for watching. This hunt here was built around a goat that I saw in 2018 while I was in here elk hunting. I think I'd located him 4 different times. The goal was to come and find that goat and shoot him. You've heard me say it many times that the reason I hunt are not just the species that I hunt or where I hunt them, but at this point in my life, it's more about who I'm sharing the hunt and the camp with. Mr. Beatty, how you doing, buddy?
Randy Newberg and I are good friends, and 3 years ago, we're up here hunting elk, and we saw a really nice billy goat. And I remember Randy telling me at the time, he said, hey, in a couple years, I might be able to draw that. You know, I'm kind of getting up there in points. When he called and told me they drew the tag, all the stuff started running back into my mind. I'm like, wow, I know exactly where we're going.
Well, we drove up here. Somehow we didn't have to chain up. I'm not sure how we pulled that off, but we did. The first afternoon, I'll be honest with you, I thought we would drive up the road here, glass this goat that we'd one time called Grubbby, and we'd see him within an hour. No goats.
It's gonna be hard to find a goat. It's pretty white out there. But Grubbby, we saw that goat 3 years ago, dirty old bugger, stinky, and he's a big billy. So if we do find him, we'll recognize him. I just was glassing up here where we saw Grubbby 3 years ago, and with the spotter I can see the snow, and there's already some spots underneath these cliff edges where snow's rolling. It's pretty common, but there's also these big huge blankets that are already starting to slough off. Early season avalanche condition makes me a little bit nervous. I can see 2 spots right now that we definitely don't want to go over there. We're at the backcountry's mercy on this hunt.
It was very obvious that these north slopes and east slopes where I'd seen him in September and October, they were so deep in snow that these goats were moving out of here. Bo and I have this kind of arrangement of, all right, if you want to, you come and do the big production hunt, you know, the camp, the everything.
You guys good onions, mushrooms?
Yes.
And I love to cook and show people just a good time and in the backcountry, and just try to help out any way we can. You know, we have a lot of the gear and equipment to make for a nice camp, and there's gonna be a lot of people here.
He called me and said, now remember, we're gonna have a world-class goat camp.
They say if you live long enough and have enough kids, you'll see everything in life, but until you've seen a camp with Bo Beatty, you haven't seen it all.
Tang anybody?
Oh, Bo.
Yeah, now we're talking.
It was one of the best days of my life.
I would say.
The secret to warm feet. Don't wear your boots around camp, and don't tie them up tight when you're driving to the trailhead. And bring another pair of socks to change when you get ready to go on a big hike, so don't have damp feet.
What we got going on, Jeremy? We got eggs to order, oatmeal with blueberries, and we got some sausages right over here. Oh man.
A lot of people know that I've had a bit of a disruption to my season with my mom having cancer. And when people found out about that, the number of folks who called and said, hey, I'll come and join you, I'll come and join you, hey, I'll go scout, all this, all that. And it's overwhelming to feel that much appreciation and friendship from so many amazing people. On one lone set of horizontal tracks up there. Don't know if it's a goat or an elk or a deer. Or...
They could be in that basin that's between the wall and that ridge in front of us too.
Yeah, they could be.
In general, in Montana, I would say goats overall are doing well. There's certainly some areas where we don't know enough about them. We don't know enough about their range and their habitats and their movements. So there's some opportunity there for sort of expanded knowledge and learning more about that herd so we can ensure that we're managing it properly.
I think I'm going to scoot a little further down and start looking at the other side.
Lee is the operations guy at the Rocky Mountain Goat Alliance. And like I've said many times, without them, this tag would not be in existence. And by 10 o'clock, I looked at the crew and said, guys, I don't know what else to say other than these goats aren't in here. If these goats were in here, we would see their tracks. So let's saddle up, let's drive around to the other side of the unit and go to another spot where I have seen tons and tons of goats in the past in my elk hunting. Well, I'm glad we gave up on the other side. We came around this side and you can see there's hardly any snow over here. And the very first thing we do is run into some friends of mine who are elk hunting. And they're like, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, I got a goat tag. They're like, oh, there's 10 of them right there. So I think we're gonna drive up to the end of the trailhead, grab our packs and start working our way up. It's good there, yeah.
My thoughts when Randy asked me to tag along were goats just have a really cool persona about them, especially in the late season. To see them in second, third week of November and the way that Randy wanted to do it, hunt them late, I was like, yeah, I'm in.
I know of no person who has spent more days mountain hunting than Adam and his family. Sure enough, there's 12 goats there. And there are two very mature billies, two what I'd call, mature but not boss man billies, and then a bunch of nannies and kids. There's one dude there that's definitely bigger than everybody else. And one of them is a filthy mess. Now, I can't tell you if this is Grubbby from the one I saw in 2018. Body size, he looks every bit as big, maybe bigger. And he's just the beast.
Some good looking billy goats. Can't believe there's so many of them. It's exciting. Well, there's two of them sitting on the ledge right now, two billies, and tomorrow looks like the last day before the weather moves in, and we might have a hard time getting close to them. because of weather and fog and snow. It'd be awesome if we can get in on them tomorrow.
We're gonna go back to camp. We're gonna leave these up here. No sense staying here till the bitter end. And we're gonna truck back to the vehicle, the trailhead, and pretty sure it'll be dark when we get there. So. Some of you might say, well, why didn't you go after them? Well, in goat country, you want to give yourself plenty of time. You're going to be up in the cliffs, climbing up there, trying to get set up in a position. It just isn't something you run over and do in an hour. I'll promise you, I did not sleep well that night. I'm thinking about, holy smokes, this could be so good. This could be everything I could have ever dreamed of. Maybe my premonition is going to be correct. Which is? The premonition was that they crawled down in the canyon.
Okay, let's go. Well, let's fire it up. What are we waiting for? Right there.
Just like that?
Yeah. What do you think, Randy?
Well, we can see them in the timber, but I don't know where they're going to go. And once you get right up against that face, you're not going to be able to see them. I'd like to see them bed down somewhere.
In my experience, to see goats in the same place every day is pretty normal. They don't have a huge home range, especially an old Billy.
But I just don't see them staying in the timber. So we're going to wait it out for a little bit. Adam, he's grabs my spotter. He's like, oh, that looks like goat country. And within 30 seconds, he has another goat in the spotter. And he just points. He's like, there you go. And I thought, well, you know, it's a 3-hour detour. Let's go check that one out. Well, the good news is when we walk up to this mouth of the canyon here,
Yeah.
quick as we gain a little elevation, we'll be able to glass that one from closer.
Yeah.
And if he's not what we think, we just keep trucking over this way to the other one. So whenever you're hunting one of these really rare species, I'll say moose, goat, sheep, you got to check out every critter you see. Are you ready?
Backstraps won't eat themselves.
So it was a lot of excitement.
So we make this great big loop and we go over there and we start chugging along and come over this knife ridge. It's full of timber. And they're looking right through the trees. I can see a white spot on that cliff. That goat is so killable. Grab this ridge, get right across from him, and you'd have about a 180-yard shot.
You see that rim right there? Do you think that I could, if you go up on the other side, that I could go up there and and phone scope it? Probably. Just to get another angle?
Pull up my binos, click, 174 yards. But that sure looks like a nanny to me. A huge nanny. I mean, one of the longest nannies I've ever seen. What's she doing here all by herself? 174 yards. Just the wrong gender. And if you study anything about population dynamics of billy goat or of mountain goats, you don't shoot nannies.
Nanny harvest really has a dramatic impact on population, even though it is legal. Goats are not like deer. They're not gonna be able to be bred the following year after they're born and then rear their own young and things like that. Nannies on average are gonna take 4 years. If that nanny has a kid with her, oftentimes that yearling probably won't survive if that mother's not there.
She's either lost or she's with another group that we just can't see because they're down below her. The good news is We got another group to go after. So we start trekking off the hill there, and I'm not feeling that well. My stomach has been upset all day. Everybody comes and is pitching in to help out on this goat hunt, and I'm gonna end up with some sort of flu bug. No, please no. So we hike over to where Bo and Jeremy were hanging out. We get over there and everyone's just excited, like, look at that great big thing, look at him, look at him. And by now it's 2:30, 3 o'clock probably.
We got over to the glassing spot from last night, and there's one distinguished gentleman over there named William Billy Goat, and he looks really good. He's a really great spot. But yeah, hot chocolate, jerky, glassing some billies. It's fun. Look at that. Service with a smile, man. 10,000 feet.
Sunset is in about 2.5 hours. We're figuring it's a 3 to 4 hour stock. But I've been sitting here trying to get feeling better. I ate something this morning. My stomach has been really bad. And just about vomited here a little bit ago. Let's go. Let's give it all we have the next day. I got to get back to camp. I got to get some fluids and rest up, because if I feel as rotten tomorrow as I do today, I don't know that I'm going to be able to give it the effort it deserves. Tomorrow. By noon tomorrow, that Billy's gonna have my tag on him. So we get up the next morning. Unfortunately, it has snowed.
I'm very excited for the boys. Looks like we got a little bit of luck on our side so far. All around us, it's all covered up in cloud and fog, and that where the goats are just cleared up.
Video never does justice to how steep stuff is, but trust me, there's a reason not many people are in this canyon, in this basin hunting. It's just steep. And it's ugly when it's snowy and slippery.
This is goat weather, man. This is what you do. This is like, you want to get a monarch species when it's in its element. Yeah, they're hard to get to, they're tough, and put yourself up to the challenge. Weather is always kind of the one thing within mountain goat hunting that throws the curveball, and it's the one kind of big setback you have a lot of the time.
Yo, I got him. Got him. 3, 4, at least 5 or 6. Probably ducked in that thicker timber for this storm, and then coming back up. Yeah.
I told the guys, I'm like, I know how we do this. This is pretty easy. What I'm gonna do, quick as we see that they are continuing to the west, I'm gonna go over west of them, and we're gonna go up that gut and make a big loop up above them. And I'm gonna shoot them as quick as they get over to their little home base there. And I've been up there before. I've been up above that. It's a grunt, but there's a trail to get in there. And it's, I don't know, 2.5 mile hike. You drop about 700 feet of elevation, get in this creek bottom. You follow that up for about a mile, and then you scale up this really steep face. They don't seem to be in a big hurry to move, and we've got a bad wind, so we're gonna hike way up this canyon, gain our elevation, and then we're gonna come this way into the wind. Because at least if we bump them and we're that direction of them, they'll likely come this way. If we bump them from this direction, they're gonna go way up into those cliffs, so. They're up there at 454 yards looking at us. Not good. I was hoping we could get across to that chute. If they spook and they go up and over, good luck. We're starting from zero at that point. So walk straight away from them into these trees, get into those trees, and then grab the trail again, come over into that drainage. We're above them now by about 50 feet in elevation. We're 390 yards away. And now we're just side hilling till we get right to those cliffs that they're in. And as we're going, wouldn't you know, right when we get there, the snow lets free and boom, I'm sliding down the hill and I grab this limb on my way by. But I'm kind of cussing myself for making some noise when we're probably this close to these goats.
Ready. I see him.
10 o'clock. And I'm like, where? It's a kid. And they are close, looking at us like, huh? There are just goats going all over the place below us. I'm looking through my binos and they're only 60, 70 yards away at times.
Typically, a billy would be off by himself, but this time of year, he was in with the nannies and they had everything they needed there. It was super cliffy. They had some escape terrain, they had food, they were south facing, there wasn't tons of snow. They didn't seem like they were bothered. I mean, there was only a couple of tags in the unit, so it's probably not a lot of hunting pressure.
I thought they would be better. I mean, it's not the end of the world, but there's 2 other billies in there that are pretty nice average billies. And I'm like, no, not him. Well, probably everybody's gonna hate me. We were 70 to 75 yards above the entire herd for over an hour. And we kept looking them over, and the 2 biggest ones just, they're not that old. They're not nearly as old as I thought they were from afar. They are not this amazing mountain monarch that I had in my mind.
Horn mass and length doesn't change a whole lot from goat to goat. Really, that's when you start seeing a lot of the classic like Roman nose and the horse-shaped muzzle, significantly larger bodies, bigger humps, things like that. A lot of the maturity starts coming out from the body, less so than the horns.
And we're walking down underneath the cliffs where those ones were, and we see 3 goats. If I hadn't got that close to them and I was down here, I probably would have shot one of them. Billy's running around with nannies, they just look that much bigger, so you think, oh boy, he's got to be a great big one. And then you get up there and you find out he's nice. But you give him 2 or 3 more years and he's gonna be like Big Hank. So we hike all the way out, we catch up with Lee and Jeremy, and they're like, you didn't see the great big one right below you guys? I'm like, what are you talking about? They said there were 3 goats way down below the other ones. I'm like, oh no. Those 3 that we saw on the way out happened to contain the big old boy.
The big guy stayed low. And then he kind of pieced out like he did yesterday. He just kind of left his group to the side.
I am so glad to hear that, because I was 100% convinced that we just completely missed the boat on him. So the next morning when we wake up, I told the guys, I said, I've thought about this last night when I was laying in my tent last night, and we made a mistake, or I made a mistake. I'm not doing that again. Those three that are split off are down low, and we're gonna shimmy down that same game trail as yesterday, and we're gonna poleaxe him from about 300 yards. Get to our glassing spot, and it's like, there they are. We're gonna sit here and make sure that it's the bigger ones. There's two bigger ones. And finally, I can't remember who spotted it, but someone's like, I think I see the big one in there.
Oh, hey, who's this guy coming in now? Super dark rear end. Who's this new guy? He's big, He's super dark.
Oh, he's filthy.
Yeah, dude, he's brown. Randy, you gotta see this guy.
That's Grubbby, dude.
Yeah, dude, he's the biggest one.
Let's get this one.
Earlier, we found 8 or 9 of them, and we couldn't find the great big dirty one. But somewhere out of the fog and clouds and snow and trees, he showed up here. He is filthy. But right now, they are unkillable where they're located. So they either got to go up, or they got to go down, or they got to go east, or they got to go west. Trying to figure out how to kill one. I mean, just to get a shot location. And if we got a shot and he didn't fall off that cliff, how in the hell are we gonna retrieve him? I mean, it's just snow and ice on those rocks. Most humans usually don't fare well when they fall 200 or 300 feet. And I told the guys, I said, you know, let's drop down there. Let's see what the situation is. If they stay up there, we know the exact path to go up there. We'll just retrace our steps from yesterday. And if they're lower in the cliffs, well, where we walk past them at 323 yards, we'll just set up down there. Dirty Harry is standing broadside up there at 407. No wind. Well, there's most of them up there. And I range it, and they're like 360, 370. What do you guys say we build a really nice shooting nest here? And the only thing that was there was this big old pointy rock that would give me enough height off where I was sitting to shoot at this super steep extreme angle. Nanny that's bedded, here he comes. Hey, I think the big one's coming out. He's coming out from behind the tree to that bedded nanny up above. And he stops, and I gotta wait for him to clear the nannies, or the nannies to clear him. That nanny's behind him?
Yep, she is.
Yeah, I see her, yeah.
He's covering her, Randy, don't you?
Oh, okay, good thing you told me, because I was gonna dart him right here. And then, did the nanny clear? Yeah, she cleared. What? How far?
It was like behind his butt.
What?
You hit a rock to the right.
I'm so confident in my shooting and my rifle that I hold the exact same spot. What the hell? This cannot be. What the heck? What is going on? How could... I am.
Right above the tail.
You're kidding me. At this point, I don't know what to think. Every time the trigger broke, I was convinced this Billy was going to take a tumble down these cliffs. How can I be that far right at just this little distance? That is unbelievable. I missed them on this face here. And now they just decided to get up and start walking. And these are the cliffs we saw them on the first day. From here, those are about similar shot distances. Now my confidence is shaken, so I'm thinking in my head, all right, I have no business shooting at this goat until I'm back to where my mind should be. Man, I screwed that up. So I told the crew, grab our stuff, let's walk out of here. I'm gonna go shoot this rifle. I doubt it's the rifle, but I gotta make sure. I'm gonna get down here, I'm gonna shoot and watch that rock. Piece of the rock flies up in there. Obviously, it's my inability to shoot at these extreme angles that is the problem. So that night at camp was pretty quiet for me. The crew is trying to get me kind of back in high spirits and tomorrow's the day, Randy, tomorrow's the day. By the time we get there, the clouds have cleared off. It is a beautiful morning. There's one. They're in the timber up above these cliffs and these rock slides. Up to that kind of line of timber up there. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna make that great big loop again, get way above them, and we're gonna come straight down below them, and we're gonna have one of those shots out there at about 100 yards. I mean, this is the earliest we've been on the trail after them in the entire hunt. We're just grinding, getting more elevation. More elevation is getting steeper and slipperier. This is tough sledding.
In Montana, you can't use two-way communication technology to help each other get in on animals. But what you can do is kind of use hand signals.
We're to the right of them from their angle. So they're straight ahead.
And we're sitting there with spotting scopes, me and Jeremy, watching Randy this whole time.
I got this last little bit of rocks to negotiate here. I'm gonna go up and over them. And I should be able to look down in there. Now we start going over to the spine where I know that they were at. And we get there and look down, nothing. All right, they must be below us. Drop lower. Nothing.
And watching this whole thing, you just get a little bit more excited. A little bit more excited.
What are they seeing? They're saying right below us. Or at least that's what their signals say. Pretty soon, start seeing tracks in the snow down there. I'm like, all right. So we start dropping really slow, going as slow as we can. And now Adam is like, he taps his nose. He's like, and I could smell it, but as we dropped about another 50 yards, I'm like, whew, yeah, I can smell this. And on the top of this big spire of cliffs was beds, tracks, droppings. I mean, it was Goat City. This is sketchy, man. They moved down into all these cliffs. We don't see anything. We're looking off to the sides. Adam's out there right up to those ledges that drop 50, 80 feet. Did you see anything?
No, it just kind of pinches.
Yeah. They're in those cracks somewhere. And I just said, you know what, guys? Even if we saw something here, it's not retrievable. We're not gonna take the risks of being up in this ice like this, and these cliffs and these rocks.
So you think just kind of walk this around and then hit that black? Yeah, let's do it. And get on the other side of that black spine and drop down. And then when we get to the point I marked, we come back across.
As we start going down, we look over and there's 3 nannies looking right at us.
They're looking at us. There's a bunch of them that must be down lower. Tracks everywhere. So now the goats are over to my left. We're gonna drop down this side out of their view. And there's another big knob right down below us, about 60 vertical feet. I'm looking over there at Bo. He's got the orange vest over to the east, which we know that because we saw 3 goats and they rolled around that way. I'm gonna drop all the way down, go all the way back up to where we were yesterday, stay there till dark.
And this time we're going up further to where we saw those goats the first night on the way out. It was 323 yards. That's a closer shooting range, and we're just gonna search around till we find a better shooting position.
There they are.
There they are.
They're goats.
And they're white things with black orange.
Yeah.
That tree right in front of them, right to their left, or just to their left is 370.
He said.
And I instantly start building a shooting station. I don't know, we hadn't sat there 20 minutes. And all of a sudden here comes goats moving back and forth across the cliff, some higher, some lower. And out steps this great big one, this filthy old dirty, a beast among beasts. He is wound up. And now some goats are coming lower, some are over in the trees to our right. It's just a whole mash of goats just in different places. And almost like deja vu, he's walking up the same series of rocks, the same little ledge and bench from the night before. 337 yards. Ready?
Over that.
Over? Yeah. My God. Could you tell left or right?
Look slightly right. That was straight over. You want to be like 8 inches lower.
He's moving. Buttons to us. Walking uphill.
And I am so mad at myself at this point because I am focusing so hard on the shot.
I'm not kidding, your groups are perfect, man. I was pretty surprised that Billy was still there after we rang 3 shots and did some geology work behind him, blowing up some rocks.
So we're waiting and we're waiting and we're waiting for this guy to step out. If he takes any steps to his left, he's gonna be in the open. Okay, you guys ready?
That hit him.
And then he starts coming down the cliffs really fast. There he is. But I'm looking at him when he goes through some of those openings. I don't see any blood. I don't see anything that shows he's hit. Oh, no, come on. And now he starts coming down to that cliff band where all the other ones were.
Yep. I see him now. He's walking to the left.
Yeah, I see him. Well, where do I hold here? It's not as far, the angle's not quite as steep.
Yeah,
There he is.
Yep.
There he is.
He's slowing. He's gonna come down to these other ones.
Breathe, Randy. Concentrate. Concentrate.
He's right there. He's facing straight on to us.
There's a nanny down to his left.
He turned. He's facing left.
Got him. Got him. He's down.
Dead. Dead.
Down, Randy.
Time's passing. I mean, the daylight is getting short.
We weren't sure if he was completely dead or if he would get up. They can take punishment.
Folks, I'm sorry I don't have time to give a real strong reaction. He's laying on the rocks up there, and as tough as billy goats are, there was like 15 or 20 minutes of shooting light left, and we just got to go up there. I'm not going to touch it until everyone's up here, because if he breaks free.
Yeah.
Been a tough year, been a tough hunt, and everything I dreamed of about hunting mountain goats was right there in front of me.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you guys. I can't thank you enough, fellas. I'm
100% certain without the encouragement, work, support of all you guys in the field, at camp, I couldn't have done it.
This goat is over 12 years old based on the annuli, the rings on his horn. And he's just a brute. He's so long in the body. He's so big in the chest.
You win and lose together, you know, when you're a group of hunters after one goal. And it was really special just to see it all come together and see the smile on Randy's face. And he waited a long time to do this.
For it to all come together in a year like this, that's been a huge challenge for me, for my crew, for my family, means a lot. These kind of memories will probably just get richer and more fulfilling every time I think about them.